Hello and welcome to Eat These Words. Today I am going to be doing a strawberry and white chocolate kind of cheesecake cake. Anyway, stick around and see how I get on. In my bowl I've got 8 ounces of spread, and to that I've added 8 ounces of caster sugar, and I'm going to cream this until it's nice and light and fluffy. So hopefully I've got my mixer on. Woohoo! This is a standard Victoria cake mix, so it's equal quantities of each item. So we're talking equal quantities of margarine or spread of choice, or even butter if you wish, sugar and flour, and equal quantities of eggs, which I'll go into in a minute. But to make it light and fluffy, you need to cream it until it's about 2 shades lighter than what it actually started with. Now I'm doing it in a mixer, but you can do it by hand if you so wish. And it's a simple procedure, but it takes a while. You need to push down on your margarine, spread or butter, push it down and pull it back, push it down and pull it back into the sugar. It's hard work to start off, but it will get there, and it's just a lot of elbow grease, which is why I do it in my mixer. Now I've started this and it's all attached to the sides of my mixer, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is just get a spatula and take it off. I might need to do this a few times, but that's okay. And it'll become the colour of double cream. So I'm going to set that off again and let it go. So I've now creamed my butter and sugar together, as you can see here. And just for comparison, I'm going to show you what it started off life as. This one here on my spoon is the original, and it's a couple of shades darker, as you can see, than what we have on the beater at the moment, and that's what you're aiming for. This one looks like double cream, I hope you can see, and this one still looks like butter. And we're going to add in our eggs. Now I'm using large eggs. The reason I gave you the recipe in ounces is because it's roughly 2 ounces for 1 large egg. So if you do it in ounces, a Victoria cake, it's so much easier to work out how many eggs you need. So I've got in here 4 eggs. So I'm going to add my eggs one at a time. So I'm going to switch on my machine slowly to start off with. We don't want a mess. And add 1 egg. Let it get going. Give it a second, and then speed it up. And the aim, I'll just turn that down a second. The aim is to incorporate the egg. Once you've done that, get your beater up again. Scrape down the sides. This is important. If you don't scrape down the sides of your bowl, what will happen is half of the mixture will remain sugar and butter, and the other half will have the egg in, and it doesn't taste good. Don't do that. Try not to do that. Once you've done that, it's time to add another egg. I'm going to continue to do it like this until we've added all our eggs and they're nicely incorporated. The only thing I want to say at this stage is, if it looks like it's separating, don't worry, it's not going to be an issue. However, if you want to, you can add about a tablespoon of your flour. And I've got 8 ounces of self-raising flour. You can add about a tablespoon per egg to your mixture and it won't have any effect on your cake. So that's my eggs incorporated into my mixture. I did manage to add 1 dessert spoon of flour to keep it together. Okay, so I'm going to now take my beater off because I want to add my flour manually. It stops any air bubbles that we've created in beating it from disappearing and gives the cake a lovely texture, which if you use your beater to put it in, can be a little bit tougher. So give it a scrape down, give it a rub off the bottom, make sure you've got everything incorporated into your mixture. So now I'm going to sieve in my flour. So that's your 8 ounces of flour minus your whatever you've already put in. And this is self-raising flour. It's a finer flour as well for cakes. It's good for cakes. So give it a stir, and the best way to do it is to go round and through, round and through, and just keep doing that until your flour is incorporated into your cake. If you do see any flour when you go through, continue folding. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to divide my mixture into 2. First of all, I have lined and greased 3 cake tins because I'm doing a 3-layered cake, and I need 2 bowls, 1 largish one, 1 smallish one, because I'm going to need 2 times the amount of one colour to the other colour because I'm doing a 3-layered cake. I want 2 one colour, 1 the other colour, and I'm doing a pinky layer in one of them, so I want 2 plain, 1 pink. First of all, I'm going to eyeball it, and then we'll work from there, I think. Because that's the way I like it. 2/3 in one, and 1/3 in another. I'm going to flavour them with vanilla, just a little bit of vanilla, so 1 capful in 2/3, and 1/2 capful in the other third. And I'm going to add into the other one, the smaller one, some red food colouring. I'm going to use a skewer. I'm going to mix this in. So just keep going until you've got the colour that you really want. Now that needs to be a little bit more, just a little. We're aiming for a kind of a strawberry colour, which hopefully this will be, and that won't have done too much, but there you go. Give it another mix. That's better. We'll just mix the vanilla into the other. Have your oven set to gas mark 4. So I'm going to weigh that one. Usually this weighs in at about 500 grams-ish. 4, 8, 9, we'll go with that for now, and another one. 80, that's good enough for me. Just spread your cake out from the middle to the sides and keep going, gently does it, until it's right up to the edges. These are 8-inch pans, by the way. So I'm going to pop these in the oven, gas mark 4, for about 30 to 35 minutes and see how it is. What we want is when we put the skewer in, for it to come out and it's not got any cake mixture on it. So that's what we're aiming for. I'm going to make some strawberry compote to go in my cake. So I've got some fresh strawberries here. Now you can do this with any fruit. It doesn't have to be just strawberries. And actually this, if you don't use it all, is absolutely great on top of porridge, anything like that. It's just great. I love a compote, and it's a great way to use up fruit as well. If you've got some fruit that are about to be off or turning, whatever you want to call it, best thing to use is ripe fruit. But if you've got some that are about to go off, use them. So I've put my strawberries in a pan, and I'm going to put the heat on. I haven't put any liquid in there because there's a lot of liquid going to come out of my strawberries. So I've not put any sugar in yet either, because I want to sweeten these as I go, because I don't want them too sweet, and strawberries tend to be quite sweet anyway. Put the lid on so that we can get a bit of steam going, and we're going to let these cook until they're soft, and then we're going to check them and see. We want them quite jammy, so I'll come back when that's done. Okay, once you can see the bubbles in the pan, give it a stir. You can see already there's a lot of juice coming out of this, and that's what we're aiming for. Now we just need to keep going and let this reduce slowly. You want some lumps, some strawberries and some
push basically. We're making like a jam.
So at the end I have roughly half a pint of compote. I haven't tasted it yet because it's very hot, but I will taste it before I use it. But really what I want this to do is to balance out the sweetness of my icing. So I think I'll probably end up just leaving it as it is. Anyway, I'm leaving it to cool till tomorrow when I'm doing my icing. So it's the day after I've made my cake and I'm going to make my icing. And I'm going to be making cream cheese frosting because it goes with my theme of strawberry cheesecake. So I've got 300 grams of butter in my bowl here and I'm going to soften it. It's been out for a while, but butter is notoriously hard to soften. So I'm going to give it welly in my machine until it's soft. Once you've got it soft, I find the best way to do this is to use a whisk rather than a beater, just because it's quicker, and if you put it on high speed it tends to get it going a little bit better. So once you've done that, it's time to add cream cheese. So I've added through equal quantity of cream cheese to my mixer, and just to show you, I've got the small tubs of Philadelphia here. And they're not 250 anymore, everybody. They're 168, so you will have about this much left in one tub. You still pay £2.25 for it, like, but never mind. And so we're going to mix this together until it's combined. To get a spatula, clean down the sides. We want to ensure that the butter and the cream cheese are properly incorporated, and you won't get that if you don't do this. Pop it down, and again. And just keep going until it's all nicely incorporated in the same colour. So this is the bit I'm not that keen on when I'm making icing, I'm sorry. I have to add 600 grams of icing sugar. And this is sieved icing sugar. If you don't sieve it, you'll end up with lumps, so be careful. I'm going to, as you probably suspect, add this gradually, a little bit at a time until it gets going. And I really don't like doing icing, so getting better at it, but there's a little bit in. It's going to take me a while, so another dessert spoon going in because I'm scared. And away we go again. And I'm going to continue doing this till my 600 grams has disappeared. So I've just managed to finish adding my icing sugar, and as you can see it's quite soft at the moment. It will be going in the fridge to set a little bit before we use it because it is very soft, but the butter content will mean that it will harden up. Whatever you do, please don't use low-fat Philadelphia. It doesn't work. I've tried and it was a nice little wet mess. So now that we've done that, we need to add some flavouring. So I've got myself some vanilla extract, and I'm going to add about a cupful of vanilla extract. Good. And I'm going to give that a whiz. Okay, and that basically is my cream cheese frosting done. So I'm going to put my icing in the fridge for about half an hour to an hour, give or take, and then I'm going to ice my cake. So I'm now going to attempt to ice my cake. Now, I'm not a very good person at this, never done easily for me. So fingers crossed this turns out okay. First of all, I just want to say that I froze my cakes simply because it's easier to work with frozen cakes than it is to work with ones that aren't frozen. So I'm going to start by putting one of the plain layers on the bottom of my board. I've already put a bit of greaseproof paper on my board, and and I put a bit of butter underneath it to stop it from moving. And I'm going to place my first layer on there. Now I've noticed that when it was in the freezer it wasn't sitting right, so it will go back down again in a moment when it thaws. So I'm just going to make a small layer. In my cake. I want a little bit on the inside, and then we'll work from there. I'm not a cake artist, as you can probably tell from what I'm doing here. But I do enjoy making cakes. I'm better at making them than I am actually icing them, as you've probably seen in the past. So it's just for me, so I'm just going to put a nice even layer there on the inside. And you need it to come right up to the edge, that's why. So there's my thin layer. And on top of that, I'm going to put some, because I'm going for the white chocolate and strawberry cheesecake vibe, I'm going to put some chocolate chunks in the middle. Just scatter them willy-nilly over my cake. And then I'm going to put a layer of my compote on as well, my strawberry compote. Now I haven't added any sugar to this because I just wanted the acidity from the strawberries, but I don't really want it to be too sweet for me. I don't want it coming off the edges in this occasion because it'll soak the cake, and I don't want that to happen. So that's my compote. Just move it to the edge there a bit. There we go. Nice even layer of compote. And then I'm going to take my pink layer. So I'm going to put another layer of frosting in. It's lovely and light, this frosting, by the way. There we go. Back down. And again, some white chocolate in the middle. Smash more, maybe. Not a lot. She says putting a ton on. I'm going to put another layer of compote on. This did thicken up in the fridge as well overnight, so don't be worried if you think when you look at it that it's not going to thicken up. It will do. And on top goes our last layer of cake. And I kept the one that was upright, that didn't have any problems for the top. And I'm just going to push it down slightly. There we go. And I'm going to now attempt to frost the outside of my cake. So this is the finished product. I'm sorry I didn't bore you with the whole process of me doing this, as I'm really not that good at it. This is about the best I'll get from this. But the cake was enjoyed by all my family, who said they totally loved it. And I have to say, I did as well. So give it a whirl, let me know how you get on, and I'll see you on the next video. Liz out.